Hey everyone, thank you for coming back to my channel. In today's video, I'll show you how to crochet this cute peekaboo top with a front tie. If you don't know me, hi, my name is Lala. I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel and like this video so I can continue grow my channel and upload a new crochet tutorial every week. Grab your yarn and let's get started. First, we're going to start our foundation chain and we're going to start it by working a slip knot. If you're not sure how to work a slip knot, I'll link a tutorial showing how to do this very slowly and very detailed. When you got your slip knot, we're going to start our foundation chain. That's going to be the length from under your armpit to basically wherever you want. I'm going to chain 45, but if you want your top to be longer, you can add more chains. To work a chain, we're going to pass the hook under the yarn. And when we have the yarn wrapped around the hook like this, we're going to use the head to grab it into the loop on the hook. And this is one chain. I'm going to do that again, under the yarn, and grabbing the yarn into the loop on the hook. This is how our foundation chain will look like when you have the desired length. Just as long as it covers your chest in a way that you find comfortable, that's okay. Next, we're going to start our ribbing process, and we're going to start by adding one more chain. And then we're going to start working yarn over slip stitches. How do we do that? Going into the second chain from the hook, not this one, but this one. We're going to yarn over first. Then insert our hook between those loops of the second chain from the hook here. You can hold it with your finger if it helps. Then we have 3 loops on our hook. I'm going to yarn over into one loop to start with. And then when we have 3 loops on your hook, you're going to grab the left one into the remaining 2. So pull through 2. I recommend using a stitch marker for that first stitch. It will be very helpful later. So let's do that again. Yarn over, into the loop, yarn over, pull through 1. And when you have 3 loops on your hook, pull through 2. And this is the second yarn over slip stitch. So let's do that one more time. Yarn over into the next chain, yarn over, pull through 1, and then pull the left loop into the remaining 2. And now we have 3 yarn over slip stitches. We're going to repeat this step until we get to the end of the row. Now that we got to the end of the row, you're going to chain 1 and then count your stitches to make sure you didn't miss any stitch from the foundation chain. How to count your stitches? You can see those V's here. Every V is 1 stitch. To start row 2, we're going to turn our work like this. And then we're going to do the exact same thing we did in row 1. We're going to yarn over, insert our hook between the loops of the first stitch, yarn over, pull through 1, and pull through 2. And this is our first stitch of the row. Again, I recommend using a stitch marker just to make sure that we don't miss our first stitch. Let's continue to the next stitch. Yarn over, between the loops, yarn over, pull through 1 only, and pull through 2. We're going to repeat this step until the end of the row. And when we got to the end of row 2, I'm going to take out the stitch marker, go into that first stitch of the row, which is now the last stitch. And we're going to repeat the exact same thing we did in row 2 for the next 70 to 100 rows. So chain 1, turn your work, and work yarn over slip stitches until the end of the row. At the end, we'll have this beautiful knit-like looking fabric. You'll have to make enough rows for the fabric to wrap around your body, but not too tight because the stitches are very spacious and they will stretch. And I'll see you back again when you have enough rows to wrap around your body. Now that we have enough rows to fit our body well, we're going to connect the first row and the last row together. We're going to chain 1 at the end of the last row. Then we're going to insert our hook into the first stitch of the row. And then we're also going to insert our hook into that loop we didn't use in the foundation chain when we started our rows. So you're supposed to have 4 loops on your hook like this. You're going to yarn over, pull through 3, and when you have 2 loops on your hook, you're going to complete a single crochet. Pull through 2. Let's do that one more time. Into the stitch of the last row, into the loop of the first row, the loop of the chain. When we have 4 loops on our hook, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to yarn over, pull through 3. And when we have these 2 loops on our hook, yarn over into the 2 of them. So if we have 45 stitches here and also in the first row, we're supposed to have 45 single crochets into the both of them. So make sure you don't miss any stitch, and also that you're not inserting your hook into the same stitch twice. When we're done, we're going to simply chain 1, grab our scissors, and cut off the yarn. Pull up the loop and pull this strand here, this tail, to tighten it up. Next, we're going to use a darning needle to weave in the tails. When you're done weaving in the tails, you can just cut off the extra yarn and flip the top again. Because now we're going to start working on our straps. To make the strap, we're going to start by working a slip knot. And then chain 40 chains. If you need your strap to be longer, you can add more chains. After you made 40 chains, add one more chain. And then you're going to yarn over slip stitch into all of the chains until the end of the foundation chain. So yarn over, into the chain, yarn over, pull through one, and pull through two. Mark the first stitch with a stitch marker just in case, and continue working yarn over slip stitches into each of the chains until the end of the foundation chain. After you slip stitched into the last chain, you're going to chain one and turn your work. Skip this chain here and work a yarn over slip stitch into each of the stitches you just made in row 1. Keep repeating that until the end of the row, and I'll meet you back again at the end of row 2. This is how it's supposed to look. Same stitch we did for the top chest area. Next you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and we're going to work a yarn over slip stitch decrease into the next 2 stitches. Of course, again, skip this chain here. We're going to yarn over, then insert our hook into the back loop of the first stitch of the row, yarn over, pull through 1 loop only, and next you're going to insert your hook into the back loop of the next stitch. So yarn over, pull through 1 only, and now when you have 4 loops on your hook, you're going to grab the left one into all 3 loops. And this is a yarn over slip stitch decrease. Mark the first decrease with a stitch marker so we know this is the last or the first stitch. And next you're going to simply work yarn over slip stitches all the way to the end of the row. When you got to the end of row 3 and you slip stitch into the last stitch, we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and simply yarn over slip stitch until we have 2 stitches left at the end of the row. When you got to the end of the row and you have 2 stitches left at the end, including this decrease that we've marked with a stitch marker, take out the stitch marker and work a yarn over slip stitch decrease into the 2 next stitches. So yarn over into the back loop, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, insert your hook into the back loop of the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 1, and when you have 4 loops on your hook, pull through all 3 loops, and then chain 1. Turn your work, And now you're going to repeat row 3. We're going to work a yarn over slip stitch decrease into the next 2 stitches. Again, mark the first decrease because it's always easy to miss. And then yarn over slip stitch all the way to the end of the row. When you've finished with row 5, chain 1, turn your work, and for row 6 we're going to repeat row 4. So yarn over slip stitch until you have 2 stitches left at the end of the row, and then we're going to slip stitch decrease into those 2 stitches left. All the way to the end of the row. And when we have 2 stitches left, I know it's hard to see because it's black, but when you have 2 stitches left, we're going to work a yarn over slip stitch decrease into those 2 stitches and pull through 3. Next we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. We're going to start row 7 by working a yarn over slip stitch decrease into the 2 next stitches. And pull through 3 loops. Mark with a stitch marker, of course. And next you're going to yarn over slip stitch 11 times. And 11. It's supposed to look like this. Then you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. We're going to start working on this part only. So for round 8, yarn over slip stitch until you have 2 stitches left at the end of the row. And when we got to the last 2 stitches, take out the stitch marker and work a yarn over slip stitch decrease into the next 2 stitches. Next you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. For row 9, you're going to start by working a yarn over slip stitch decrease into the next 2 stitches. Mark the first decrease with a stitch marker. And then yarn over slip stitch all the way to the end of the row. When you get to the end of the row, chain 1 and turn your work. Next, from row 10 to row 17, you're simply going to alternate between repeating row 8 and row 9. Meaning for row 10, we're going to repeat row 8, and for row 11, we're going to repeat row 9. And so it goes until we reach row 17, which is supposed to be repeating row 9. So I'm going to work my rows off camera, and I'll meet you back again at the end of row 17. This is how our strap's supposed to look when we've reached row 17. You're supposed to end up with 2 stitches at the end of row 17. Next, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. Work 2 yarn over slip stitches. Chain 1, turn our work, and repeat row 18 until we reach row 21. Chain 1 and turn your work. Chain 1, turn. For row 22, we're going to turn our work and work a regular decrease. How do we do that? We're going to insert our hook into the stitch, yarn over, into the loop, and also go with our hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through the loop. And when you have 3 loops on your hook, you're going to yarn over into all 3 loops. And what we're going to do next is start a chainless foundation. I'm going to insert our hook into the left loop here. You see we have 1, 2, 3 loops. Insert your hook into the left one. Can help with your hand a little bit. Yarn over into 1 loop only. And when you have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over into both of them. And repeat that for 34 more times. Insert your hook into the left loop. Yarn over into the loop. When you have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over into both of them. Let's do that again. Into the left loop. Yarn over into the loop again. When you have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over into the both of them. If you want longer straps for the tie under the neck, you can add more single crochets. When you're done working 35 single crochets, chain 1, pull up a loop, grab your scissors and cut off the yarn, bring back the hook, and pull the tail. Weave in any tails left with your darning needle. And next you're going to repeat part 2 to have 2 straps. You're going to grab 2 stitch markers and try it on your body. Use the 2 stitch markers to mark where you want the straps to be located. Pick any row, it doesn't matter which one, just as long as you find the location good for you. When you decided on the placement for the straps on front, you're going to do the same for the back and simply put 2 stitch markers right behind the front too. And in order to make sure the straps are even, count the stitches from the first stitch marker to the one behind it and make sure it's the same count on the other side as well. For me it's 21 stitches on each side, but it can be different for any other body type. Next, grab one of the straps that you made and put it like this on the top. Make a slip knot. Place it on your hook. Insert the hook through row 2 of the strap and also into the stitch that we marked with a stitch marker. Then you're going to yarn over into the 2 stitches together, and when you have 2 loops on your hook, you're going to work a slip stitch. Let's do that one more time into the next row. Insert the hook into the row, doesn't matter where, into the next row of the top, yarn over into the 2 stitches and slip stitch. Then you're going to chain 1, make sure that it sits nicely, grab your scissors and cut off the yarn. Then pull up a loop with your hook and tighten the stitch up. We're going to weave in all the tails later. Next, we're going to flip our top in order to attach the back of the strap. Press the 2 pieces together, grab some yarn and make a slip knot. And we're going to do the exact same thing we did, only 6 times. So count from the stitch marker, 6 row into the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Going to start from here, insert your hook, and also into the first row of the top of the strap. And when you have the 2 stitches on your hook, you're going to slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and take out the stitch marker, 6. It's okay if you have to help it with your hand a little bit, maybe the stitches are tight. Then you're going to chain 1, cut off the yarn, pull up a loop, and tighten the last chain up. Next, grab a darning needle and weave in all tails. Flip your top again. And repeat the process with the other strap. Don't forget to flip the top for the back part. And this is it, guys. I hope you like your new top, and if you made this top, I'll be happy to see. Don't forget to tag me on Instagram. If you find this tutorial useful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. I upload a new crochet tutorial or crochet adventure every week. I'll see you next week. Bye!